Okay, so I was just gonna focus on right after I get off this, I'm going to text out the verbiage that I recommend for host coaching verbiage. So you guys have that in time for any demos you're doing or parties. Um, but I wanted to share a little bit more about like at the party, how to get a booking. And then again, kind of as a reminder, just focusing on um, how important it is to get those 6 to start to really build momentum. And I'm so excited doing shows. It's going to be a great way to get bookings with people you don't even know and get outside your circle. And like that's such a good way. Suzanne Holt, who is one of the top 3 consultants in the whole company, she also works 30 hours a week as a financial planner and has her whole Norex career. It blows my mind. I don't know how she does it. And she makes, I don't know, I know she's close to like $40,000 and $50,000 a month from her Norex income.
Wow.
I know, crazy. But she's done it in addition to a 30-hour week job the whole time she's done this. But the reason I'm saying that is she started her Norex career doing shows. Like that's how she didn't like go to family and friends. Of course, came to her later once they saw like her success and what she was doing. But she started by doing vendor events and things like that. So anyway, it's a great, great way to get going and really build momentum. So the thing I will say, and I think it's something that we just constantly need to remind ourselves of in this business, because being your own boss, which you're totally familiar with, like it's so easy to like not put on limits and boundaries. So just constantly be reminding yourself, okay, these are my boundaries of when I'm going to work. And I'm going to have the self-control to stick to it, because once you start getting the momentum and getting a lot of parties in your calendar and you get bookings from those, it can be really awesome, but it also can be like totally consuming. So, and having
talking to you on that.
Yeah. And I feel like something that I really talk about a lot with my team is having an abundance mindset. So from the get-go, if you realize like there's totally enough time, there totally is, because guess what? I hire out so many hours every single week of time, which creates more time for me. I hire out so much more of my housework. I hire out my laundry. I mean, I hire out so many more things. I hire out stuff with meals sometimes. And then I always hire out tons of things in my business. That's a consistent, probably a good 15 to 25 hours every week of people helping me. So just realize, like, is it supposed to get crazy? Like, it's okay. Like, that's part of the learning curve and the growth. And there's so much time and there's so many resources, and you just hire people so that you can keep those boundaries and keep the life that you want to have, which is what I've done. Anyway, so back to the host coaching. So I'll send over those texts. Really, really important to be consistent in that, and just have the expectation every party you do, you're going to want to have 10 to 12 people there. That's kind of the expectation you set with the host. I usually say 12 or 13 actually, because there's always people that cancel at the last minute. So I say what we're shooting for is 12 or 13. Now I've had hostesses that blew it out of the water and had like 20 people there.
Wow.
But that's, I know, crazy. Like she went around door to door and like rubbed butter on people's windows and like demoed to get them to come, and they came. But setting that expectation of 12 to 13 people is kind of what you're always going for. So if you use the host coaching, I'm also going to send, I'll send an email that has some really good verbiage on what I feel like is really key is that week before, when you connect, there's a text that says, how many people are you planning on? And if that number isn't 12 or 13 at that point, that's when in the email I'm going to send, there's some really good verbiage on. I like to have a call with them if I can, then if they're like, oh, I've only got 2 so far, or oh, I'm not hearing from people, that's when I'll say, oh, no problem. That's a great start. I always start like with the positive. And then so if you have just a few minutes, we could connect. I'd love to share a few ideas. And then if I can talk to them, I feel like it's easier. There are some consultants that only do it through text, and it's really, again, finding what fits for you and what you like and what works best for you. For me, I usually do it all text unless we're not getting a good number, and then at that week out call, I'll call and share ideas. And so I'll send an email that has verbiage for that. But so that's really, really key. And then at the party, dropping little, we call them booking seeds throughout the party, just little ideas about hosting. It's really important to remember that everyone's going to host for different reasons. And I kind of talked about this last week. But just some people are going to do it because they want to share it with their friends. Some people are going to do it for the free staff. But just again, a reminder, always stack those host gifts, do what we talked about last week. and asking every person, and there's a couple ways you can do it. Some people like to get like a little index card, and this is really a useful tool, especially if you do have a big group or if people have to leave quickly after the party or things like that. If I just have a few people, I don't usually do it because it's just easy to connect with people, you know. But most parties, I will have an index card, and at the end, they're just blank. And I like to do like a fun, like bright color, like, you know, hot pink or whatever you want to do. You can do them just plain index cards, whatever you want to do. But I usually do like a bright colored one. At the end, I'll pass it out. And I'll say, okay, you guys, this is your last chance. I'm going to do a drawing just from these. And I'll usually do it for like a body cloth or something. And I'll talk a little bit more about the demo in just a second. And then I'll say, okay, I want you guys to write on here numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then just number 1, okay, I'll say, I would love because you'll have people sometimes, usually people put in their order that night, but you will have some people that don't. And so this is really good to do, because if they don't put in an order, you totally lose that person, right? Unless you do this, which really is nice because it prevents that from, you don't have as many people fall through the cracks. Anyway, so you have them put their email on, say, it's really important to me. Your products are 100% guaranteed. There's a 2-year warranty, total money back guarantee on everything for 60 days. So I want to make sure you're absolutely in love with your product. So I'm going to send you an email that has instructions and videos of how to use your stuff. And so please put your email there, number 1. Number 2, I'll say I'm also going to send you a text and follow up and make sure that you're happy with it and that you don't have questions. So put your cell phone number right there. And if there is a time it's better for you than others, if you work in the day or whatever, note that on there. Number 3, and then just being sincere and enthusiastic, I'll say something like, if you want everything and you are just super excited about the products, anyone that starts to pause. Video looks this way. Anyway, if you want everything, I'm totally not a stalker. But I would love to tell you about the consultant end, because this is like, it's our business is even better than our product. It's the most incredible company I've ever seen, and we're at ground level. So I would love to just connect with you, no pressure at all. So if you're at all interested in learning more about it, put yes. If you're thinking about it or not sure, you can put maybe you're thinking, or no thanks if you're not interested. And then number 4, if you want everything and then you've thought of 1 or 2 people that would be blessed by this, you know, that's super busy and would love to save some time in their life, or is a couponer and loves to save money, or is just really concerned about their health, I would really encourage you to, for their sake, have a demo so they can see this and get your oven cleaned, you know, and have a fun night together with your friends. So if you're, you know, write yes if you'd love to share and be the hero to your friends. Maybe you're not sure if you're just kind of thinking about it, maybe you have some questions, and know if you just want to buy the product. And that's all that I say. So, but I feel like the verbiage with each of those is really key. It kind of opens them up a little bit more to doing it. And it takes a few minutes, you know, and then everybody just writes on their card, and then you gather them all in, and I'll usually have the hostess pick one. And then, I'll look over those. So as I check out each guest, I'll look at their card first, and I'll see if they did yes, no, or maybe. Now, what if you have someone marked no, and they were like so enthusiastic about doing a party, right? And because you always during the party you want to be like using your recruiting eyes and also your booking eyes. That means like you're looking for people that are like, this is so amazing, you know, that are so excited, or they're like super bubbly and like the life of the party, or, you know, you're just kind of looking for people that you could tell right off the bat, like they would be awesome to share this, right? So what if they mark no on the consultant end or the hosting, and you thought the whole party, oh my goodness, it's so good, right? So that's when I will say, like, when I look at it, I'll be like, okay, I can see on here that you marked no, but I would love to do a party for you because you were so fun and amazing. Tell me, like, do you have any concerns, or what are you thinking? You know, like, I'll just kind of ask. And I've had lots of people that mark no that ended up booking a party, but they just were too afraid to like put it on there, like, or they like had some fear that they thought, oh, like my house is too small, or like, I'd have to do it too soon. But when you ask and kind of say, like, you were so fun, like I would love to do a party for you and get you so much for free. They'll kind of, if you ask, they'll kind of share maybe why they put no, and usually you can resolve that. You know, it's, oh, I'm busy till it's January. I'm busy till March. So you know what? We can totally do it in March. Like, it counts anytime the next few months, or, you know, or like, oh, I'm just worried all my friends would feel like obligated. And that's where you can say, you know what? Tell people when you invite them, this is not a pressure to buy things party at all. Like, this is just something that you're genuinely excited about and want to share, and then it's going to blow their mind. They're going to be so grateful you shared, something like that. So anyway, so that's a really useful tool at the party to get bookings and to kind of make sure that you're asking each person and kind of finding out what they're thinking. But I will tell you, party after party after party, I have had bookings from someone who was walking out the door at the end, or I asked them, or I did this, and they'll put a maybe and then they'll book, or even if they put a no and then I just follow up. If you just kind of, I guess it all starts with the belief. Like, I truly believe after 7 years of doing this, and I have had this belief from the beginning, that like one of the best services and blessings I could give to people is to do a party for them. Because like every hostess is like, this was like Christmas. I can't believe how much I got for free. Like, and my friends love this. They're so excited. Like, it's just always such a gift them to do. So I really believe, like, I have never had, in 7 years, I've had, I think, 3 people that didn't have anyone show up. 3 people out of like 500 hostesses, or I don't know, out of a lot. I've done like 2 every week usually for about the last 7 years. Maybe the last year and a half I've done more like 1. But anyway, and so I really believe that everyone could have an awesome party, whether it's a small group or a big group. And everyone would be very, very blessed by doing this, because like there's no downside to hosting. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing negative. And if you don't want to do it in home, online is a great option, and we'll talk about that next week. There's this service called Squee that exciting things are coming. And it's a really easy way to host an online event. Even if people aren't on Facebook, like, they just send out a link and the template's there, and it's just super easy. So it's something that fits for everyone. I really believe that, which is why I'm always like, when people tell me their concerns, it's super easy to kind of help them overcome that. To say, I can totally understand why you'd be afraid, like if your house is so small or whatever, but what I found is like, it's just nice and cozy. Like, people still come and they're so grateful that you shared, and it's so amazing all the free stuff that you get, and there's really like, it's awesome. So what do you think? Like, and I always like to go right into, would a weekend or a weeknight be better for you? So I'll kind of resolve their concern, because most people, the problem is they just can't decide. Like, they're just on the fence and they're unsure. And so if you can kind of resolve their concern, I understand how you feel. I've had a lot of people that felt the same way. Like, I've done parties, or you can say there's parties in little tiny apartments. And what I found was, it was awesome still. People were just really glad to be there and to learn about it, because it was such a blessing. Anyway, and then just go right into, from that, once you resolve it, say, do you think like a weekend or a weeknight would be better for you? And if they're really not interested, they'll say it. They'll say, you know what, I really just don't want to do it. No problem, no pressure at all. I'm just so excited for you to get your products, and you're gonna love it. And I would love to hear what you think after you try it. But if they are interested, that kind of helps them decide, and they'll be like, oh, well, maybe like a Saturday morning brunch would be better. And you just assume that like most people will be like, yeah, this is amazing. I would totally want to do this. So anyway, so that's kind of a really, really key thing. And then on the Norwex training, I don't know if you've checked that out yet. Have you seen that, the little logo at the top when you log in? There's some more ideas on booking seeds to say throughout the party, but my biggest thing is to say at least 4 at the demo. Like, if you forget to say about the silver, if you forget to talk about a certain product, that's not so big of a deal as if you forget to say your booking seeds, because that is the reason why you're doing the party, is you want to get more parties to, obviously you want to sell the product, but it sells itself. So you that's going to happen as long as you do the butter demo and the raw chicken demo, you're going to have sales. The focus you need to have at first, at least, is getting bookings off of that. And so just saying those ideas throughout. Like, I like to start with, hey, you guys, like, my husband is home putting my kids to bed, and I'm going to be here having a party with you. So enjoy the break, have fun, like, kind of like that. And it kind of puts the idea of like, oh, this is really fun. This is a nice thing. Like, this is a good thing. And it's also, I feel like, a recruiting seed too, because it's kind of like, oh, yeah, I would love a night out from putting my kids to bed, let my husband get them. But I intentionally have at least 4 things that I'm saying from the beginning. When I talk about the mop, I'll talk about that. This is one of the big reasons people will host a demo, is because they want to get it for free or really discounted. Or I got it for free when I signed up. So that's another one, the recruiting seed and a booking seed. And the key with the seeds is it just needs to be something that's true for you, that resonates, that you genuinely can feel excited and sincere about, but that you have written down and that you practice ahead of time. And I recommend like anchoring it to something in your presentation. So for me, right when I start, I know I'm going to say the comment about having fun and like letting my husband put the kids to bed. When I talk about the mop, that's another one I always remember. Like if I talk about the mop, I always say that first. And then after I talk about the mattress cleaner, that's when I do the stack the host, I do the game that we talked about last week. And then at the end, when you're doing the cards, that's my last one. When I say, you know, if you have a friend that's like totally busy and she could be blessed saving 70% time in cleaning, or, you know, when I'll share those few ideas about like why it would bless their friends and why they would want to share, that's my last one. So just being consistent every party where you're consistently saying those booking seats. Now, where I am now, my focus in my party is not getting bookings, even though it happens naturally now because I always say those seats. My focus is recruiting. That's where really the growth and my impact of changing homes and changing lives and the environment and all these ways that I'm making a difference. That's where it really happens, is when I'm teaching someone else to do what I do. But you don't want to shift to that until you've gotten the booking thing down. That's like kind of the first step. And once you've gotten that down, you're consistently getting on average 1, 2, 3, you know, bookings at a party, then you kind of shift to recruiting, and that's where your focus is. So anyway, so that's kind of it. And then just again, always doing that stack the hostess like we talked about last week near the end. And if you're doing those, you're going to consistently get bookings at your parties. And it's so great because it perpetuates so easily. And I will say I've had parties with like 10 people and nobody wanted to book. It's happened. It's very rare. And in that case, I'll encourage the hostess to book again. But usually, like if I'm doing all those seeds and if I'm like, usually it was kind of a fluke. Like they were all super old and just they weren't, you know, and back then too, I wasn't offering an online event. So I wonder if that would have changed it. I was just solely doing home ones. And I've had a lot of times where, you know, people didn't want to do a home one, but then they were like, oh, online sounds easy. It's only 30 minutes, you know, and then I send you stuff to copy and paste beforehand. It takes about 15 minutes for people. I'll have people that will opt for that. And seriously, I would say 75% of my team, which we have several thousand people, we have some of the highest volumes in the whole company on our team. Most of them do online only, which blows my mind because that's totally not me. But so many people on my team have really pioneered the industry like online, and that's where they consistently have bookings and parties is online. So I mean, I feel like the trend is very, unfortunately, I think it's unfortunate. People are kind of moving more away from getting together and they're connecting more digitally, which I'm not a fan of. I'm like you. Like I love to have people in my home. I love to entertain. Like I love to connect with people in person, which is why that's how I mainly do my business, because that's what works for me. But a lot of people are becoming a lot more just they're busy. They work full time. They want to be home. And so that's why online's a great option as well. And it's a really thriving market and it's totally wide open and it opens up the whole US. Well, the whole world. In fact, I had a hostess, a friend of mine that was in Australia and hosted. And she just mailed the stuff to her. Anyway, I'm sure that was like a fortune. I don't even know how much it cost her to mail a read. In fact, I wonder if the hostess was. Anyway, but it opens up a lot of places. And in fact, especially if people are like military and there's a PO box you can ship to. Norwex does ship to PO boxes for military. So it just opens up everywhere. Anyway, so that's pretty much it about how to get bookings at the parties. Really, again, having that expectation of the 12 to 13 people on average saying they're coming, and then being really consistent in using those texts. And what last thing I'm going to say about that, in fact, 2 last things and I'll be done. Sorry, I'll be quick. One is if you have an Android phone, you can actually schedule text, which is really nice. If you have an iPhone, you cannot do that. But there is a service called Project Broadcast, and it's $10 a month. So if you are regularly doing parties, I absolutely recommend getting it. It's worth every penny because you can automate all of your customer care and all of your hostess coaching. You can actually have a default campaign in there, and you just put in the date of, you know, her parties on January 19th. And so automatically before it will send her the text and put her name in. Hey, Sarah, so glad your party's coming up. And then it will automatically do all that for you. So that's what I do for my customer care and also for my hostesses. And I highly, highly recommend that once you get up and going because it's totally worth it. All the time it creates in your life and just the consistency, things that you might have struggled to like stay on top of, it does it all for you once you set it up. So, and I can share all that with you, the campaigns and things, so you can kind of tweak it and make it your own, but have somewhere to start. And then lastly, I was just going to say about the presentation. the key is just to keep it super simple and super duplicatable. So this Safe Haven 5 that Norwex is coming out with, I have never done this before, but I'm going to start doing it because I feel like it really will make a difference. I'm going to show it on here. The Safe Haven 5 is a new thing that comes out in January. EnviroCloth, window cloth, dust mitt, cleaning paste, and laundry detergent. And if it does well, I'm hoping they'll have an option with a liquid as well. They were trying to keep it under $100, which is why they didn't do it with the liquid. But I personally like the liquid laundry detergent is killer amazingness. Like it's even more effective, I feel like, than the powder. But I use the powder most of the time. I just do some OxyClean with it, which is pretty clean and green. Anyway, so just focusing on those top 5 products, I personally am going to just do those 5 and then mention them out briefly. I'm not going to go into a lot about it, which is going to be hard, but the reason I'm going to start doing that and why Norwex is really pushing it is we are in a really busy time. So if we can keep our demo part shorter and just really simple and easy for people, people will be more likely to book. So like, oh, that was easy. That wasn't a big deal. We didn't have to sit for too long. I'm kind of my demos tend to go too long because I love so many of the products and I can pull it off. I guess I keep it fun, but it's not as duplicatable. So I'm really going to work on keeping it shorter, talking about less. But here's the key: is what I'm going to do is like I'm not even going to talk about the body cloth. I'm not going to talk about the Spironets. I'm going to briefly mention the mop after the Safe Haven 5, and I am going to briefly mention the mattress cleaner. I feel like that is a great consumable. That is just killer. Like it's one of my number 2 selling product out of everything I sell. Household package is number 1, and then the mattress cleaner is what I sell next, and the Spironets. But anyway, so I'm going to briefly mention those. But for my giveaways, I'm going to intentionally give away things that I want to be able to talk about. But that's like my presentation is shorter and kind of over. You know what I mean? And so I'm going to give away a body cloth, and when I give that away, I'll mention, oh my goodness, you never need face wash again, you know, and it's so much easier than having to splash your face and drip down your elbows. Something like that. Or eye makeup remover, and it totally exfoliates you, and you can use it on your whole body. And so during the giveaway, I'm going to give away things that I want to talk about. So I probably won't be doing travel cloths anymore for that. I'm mainly going to do that. I do a special where if people bring a guest that wasn't invited that the hostess doesn't know, or the hostess wouldn't be inviting, you know what I mean? I'll just say if you bring a guest, and I do clarify with the hostess, I say a guest is anyone that you don't really know and you won't be inviting. Because I've had people say, oh yeah, my aunt brought my other aunt the guest, and I'm like, that's not like, anyway, so okay. Oh, thank you. So yeah, so I'm gonna do the travel cloths as if they bring a guest, and I do one for them and whoever they brought. To me, that's worth it because I've had the guests come and buy tons of stuff or a party or join my team. My goal is to get as many people there as possible. I know if people just listen and hear it, they love it and are super excited. So I'm always really trying to incentivize people to bring people with them. Bring along your mother-in-law, you know, to tell the guests, bring your mother-in-law, bring your sister, you know, your friend or whatever, and you both will get a free cloth. I have people on my team today that are some of my top people that I never would have met them because they came as a guest, but they only came to help their friend get a free cloth and to get a free cloth. But then now they're a consultant who's the rock star of my team. So it's totally worth it to do that. Worth the investment. You just really have to be a stickler and clarify with the hostess. You'd be surprised how many people just either don't get it or they try and take advantage of it. So, and that's a bummer, especially when you're starting out, if you know, if you're out of your pocket. Anyway, so yeah, keeping it super simple and then just doing the giveaway items of things. I might start giving away toothbrush. I know it's kind of a big thing. It's a big seller if I mention it. And I just get so much for free anyway with my shopping sprees. I can do that. If you start recruiting, you're going to keep getting shopping sprees, and it's amazing. Sorry, I keep forgetting about that. Anyway, so I think I'm probably going to give away a body cloth and a toothbrush for my giveaway items. And if I have like 10 or 12, I usually do 3 giveaways. If I usually kind of do it based on the number of people there. So if I have 2 or 3, 4 people, I'll just do 1. If I have 7 or 8, I'll do 2. And if I have more than 10, I'll do 3. It's kind of what it's just fun. Like I feel like it's another reason that people will book because it makes it just really fun and worthwhile, right? For people to come. They're so excited to go home with something. And especially since it's usually free. Like I said, I've never had to buy anything for that. It's always just free because I'm doing party a week or more. You're always going to get a free package from Norwex of awesome products. And if you're teaching people do what you do, you're going to be getting shopping. So okay, my battery's really low. Okay, so that's everything. Just keep your demo, and on those products, the more you can just show, less talking and the more just showing. One, it's way more effective because that's what sells it. And it's just easy for people to think, oh, I can do that. You know what I mean? I don't have to getting up in front of people. I can just show them, and it's amazing. So as much as you can, everything you're showing, yeah, it's great to talk about the benefits of it. The party cards have great verbiage of talking about the benefits. But the more you can just demo and show the cleaning paste, you know, go clean the stuff on the wall, do the cooktop like we did at your party, right? Do the, what's another good demo with cleaning paste? That's headlights. Oh my goodness. Like if headlights are like foggy, they look like brand new. Just everything that you can demo. Usually there's a scuff mark or a cooktop that I can do it on. Those are my most common ones. And the laundry detergent, I'm trying to think if there's any good demos. I do, well, actually what they'll do, I've had people just pass around the dryer balls. They'll kind of mention that with it. And they'll just put a couple drops of essential oil, and you do that once the clothes are dry, and then do an air fluff. But just passing that around, letting people smell like I love to do. Our Purify one is like a Christmassy smell, or our Energize is like a citrusy one that I really like. Anyway, so that's another, again, just interactive, making it fun, making it much more effective than just getting there and talking. So, and it makes it easy for you. Okay, that's everything. So